So I'm doing my extra credit project on Fantasia in D minor by Mozart. A little bit of background. It was published in about 1782. They don't actually know the exact date because it wasn't actually published during his lifetime, but they think that this fits into the tone and kind of sound of a lot of his other music from around 1782, so that's when scholars say that this was probably written. But it was left unfinished when he died in 1791. But it's still one of his most famous pieces. And then the last 10 measures weren't actually finished by Mozart. They were finished by a guy named August Muller, who's like one of his biggest fans. And he just went in and kind of fixed the ending, but we'll talk about that later. What makes a fantasia a fantasia? I didn't know that a fantasia was its own thing, kind of like a sonata or a concerto, but it is. And it's free in form and inspiration, and it's supposed to sound more like improv instead of an exact rigid form, which is really cool because I love improv. So this was a cool piece for me to research because it is a fantasia. The musical texture and timing of this piece, it's homophonic, so it has an overarching melody and then chords underneath it. But even though there are chords underneath, sometimes that means that we think it's just automatically dense, but it's not super dense. It kind of sounds light and airy because there's only 3 or 4 notes being played at a time. But some pieces have 7 or 8 notes that are stacked. So the timing of this piece is 4/4 timing, and there are 4 counts per measure. The quarter note gets 1 count. So the form of this piece is, there's 3 different parts. There's andante, which is a walking pace kind of, and it's the introduction. This is in D minor, so it's in a minor key. And we're going to listen to a little bit of it right now. So that's the first little intro. It's not super duper long, but it introduces the piece. And then the bulk of the song is in the second, not movement, but second part of the song. It's adagio, so that means it's faster. And there's 2 themes and then a little presto improv stage. So, and so it plays the first theme, the second theme, and then this little improv thing, which we're going to listen to. And then it plays a variation of the second theme, and then presto, this little quick improv thing again. And then it plays a variation of the first theme. So we're going to listen to those, and I'll tell you when each theme is up. So that's the first theme in the adagio portion of the song, and then this is the second theme. So that's the end of the second theme. So those are still in D minor, still, well, minor sounding. And then there's this little presto improv spot, which isn't like technically actually improv, but it's still, it sounds kind of improv, and it's my favorite part. It's pretty short, but it's definitely my favorite part of the whole song. So it does this little repeat of the first theme, and then right about here, it builds up into the presto part right now. So that was that. So I really like the transition into that, because it goes back and you hear this like familiar little like recap of theme 1, but it's only like 10 seconds long, and then it goes into this cool little presto thing. And then they do a variation of the second theme, and then a variation of the first theme after a little presto intermission. And then there's a major conclusion at the very end, which we're going to listen to. And this is allegretto, so it's fast, but a little bit faster than the other one. Let's see if I can find where I want to be. Right there. So this is the last section of the song. So this is in D major. So he didn't switch the center pitch, but he did switch the mode, kind of. Now it's went from minor to major. So there's that. So you have kind of the three sections, and then it just goes back into another little major thing. But then I really wanted to talk about the ending. So there's a little bit of controversy about the ending, because for the longest time everyone thought that he literally just ended it, and he didn't. He got it. A lot of people think that it was supposed to be an intro to a larger fugue that he never wrote. So he started out, this was called Introduction, like a Fantasia introduction. So people thought he was writing this for a bigger composition, but he never like got around to it. And then in 1944, which is a long time after it was first published, that's when scholars realized, like, oh, I don't think this was actually Mozart that finished it. So they did a bunch of research and figured out they think it's August Muller. But I just wanted to talk about, I wanted to show Mozart's ending versus the 10 measures that August Muller ended. So this website kind of tells you. So we're going to listen to these measures really quick up until here. And that's just where Mozart stopped it. And it's kind of like, it doesn't sound like it's over. So then August Muller added these 10 measures onto the end. We think it was August Muller. And this is what the real ending of the song sounds like. Anyway, so that is Fantasia in D minor by Mozart, and that is my presentation for the midterm.